Headlines: as the world prepares for World War III, the second blood moon Purim eclipse will appear in the sky. March 14, 2025, the world will witness the mesmerizing blood moon. Why is it very, very unusual? And it's God sending a message to us. Eyes on prophecy, dear friends. Welcome to TIBP Live. Kindly share this important latest prophecy update, Esther chapter 9 verse 31, that these days of Purim should be observed at their appointed seasons, as Mordecai the Jew and Queen Esther obligated them. Purim commemorates the Jews' deliverance from a plot by Haman, the Persian king's advisor, to annihilate them, with Esther, the Jewish queen, and Mordecai playing key roles in serving and saving their people. March 14, 2025 is the day when the Purim eclipse will take place, and this is the second one in a row since 2025. Many people believe that this event could be prophetically significant because it is pointing to the unbiblical teaching of a secret rapture and 7-year tribulation. Some people believe that God is sending us a signal of a period of war. What makes these Purim eclipses so remarkable is that Purim itself is a feast that represents divine intervention and deliverance after war. It demonstrates the time when God used the Queen Esther to save the Jewish people from destruction. Biblical history shows that Purim has been associated with sudden reversals. When things seem darkest, God brings salvation. Consider this. An eclipse, especially one falling on Purim, often symbolizes a major spiritual shift or a warning. And let me remind you that this is the second consecutive Purim eclipse since 2024, which makes it even more significant. Last year in 2024, we also saw an eclipse on Purim back to back. Purim eclipses are highly unusual. Could this be a sign from God on end-time wars and end-time deliverance? Headlines: as the world prepares for World War III, the second blood moon Purim eclipse will appear March 14, 2025. There sure have been a lot of signs in the heavens lately. For example, less than a week ago, there was a very rare alignment of the 7 other planets in our solar system on the exact day of the argument in the Oval Office between President Trump and Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. That should have gotten a lot of attention that it did. Interestingly, the blood moon eclipse that occurs in 4 days falls during the biblical festival of Purim, and the biblical festival of Purim is the only festival that was actually created as a result of an armed conflict, the book of Esther. God miraculously delivered his people from literally being annihilated from all lands within the Persian Empire. Just as he delivered his people way back in the Old Testament, so as he will save his people from the mark of the beast and the persecution of the Antichrist. There was actually a blood moon eclipse during Purim in 2024. There would be a blood moon eclipse during in 2025 right now, and there would be another in 2026. And all these eclipses are occurring during a season of war. What are the odds of that? On October 7, 2023, the Hamas terrorists invaded Israel, and a season of war in the Middle East began. Just a few months later, we witnessed the first blood moon Purim eclipse in 2024. The first day of Purim was from sundown of March 23 to sundown of March 24th. The second day of Purim was from sundown of March 24th to sundown on March 25th. It was on that second day of Purim in 2024 that the first blood moon Purim eclipse happened. This year, the first day of Purim begins when the sun goes down on March 13th. Israel is being encouraged and they are voicing out for the rebuilding of the third temple. And celebrity Gal Gadot encourages Israel on her viral speech.
Gal Gadot, best known for her role as Wonder Woman, made a rare yet extraordinarily powerful pro-Israel speech that has the Jewish community around the world applauding. Take a look.
And never did I imagine that on the streets of the United States and different cities around the world, we would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating, justifying. Here's the thing. However much you tried to avoid it before, even if speaking up wasn't really your thing, none of us can ignore the explosion of Jew hatred around the world anymore. And that's what I'm doing. No way I need it. It really is me standing in front of you today, saying simply that my name is Gal and I'm Jewish. And we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Israel 365 News says, incoming IDF head leaves note at Western Wall, hinting at vision of a third temple. Interestingly, the IDF head-elect, through a quirk Hebrew grammar, the phrase he wrote on the wall, where he predicted and has a vision where the third temple will be created. He wrote there, where the temple was built, could also be understood as where the temple will be built. Could it be that the Western Wall will be the place where they will rebuild the third temple? There is no hint that the third temple is part of the prophecy of the Bible. It is just an attempt of the devil to turn away the attention of the people from the heavenly temple where Jesus is. Headlines: Donald Trump warns World War III not so far away. If you have been paying attention to the news lately, you might feel like the world is on fire. From Ukraine to the Middle East, from China to the United States, the drums of war are beating louder than ever. It's easy to dismiss these as just another cycle of global conflict, but what if they are more than that? What if these wars and rumors of wars are puzzle piecing, falling into place just as the Bible foretells?
To end wars, settle conflicts, and restore the planet to peace. I want peace, and I don't want to see everybody being killed. And you take a look at the death in the Middle East and the death that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine. It's been going on, and we're going to end it. There's no profit for anyone in having World War III, and you're not so far away from it. I'll tell you right now. You're not so far away. If we would have had this administration for another year, you would have been in World War III, and now it's not going to happen.
Jesus warns about days like these. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation and kingdoms against kingdoms. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Europe edges closer to war. Headlines: China versus America, the next global conflict. If Europe and the Middle East weren't enough, China has also made a chilling declaration. It is ready for war with the United States. This came after Trump administration imposed new tariffs on Chinese goods, escalating an already tense relationship. In response, Chinese officials stated that they would not back down, even if it meant war. And they're not just talking, they're preparing. China has increased its defense budget by over 7%, signaling that they are ready for something big. The Bible tells us that global conflicts will only increase by Christ's return. When we see world powers openly threatening war on multiple fronts, it should make us stop and pay attention. The warning signs are flashing. Jesus didn't give us these warnings to scare us. He gave us these warnings for us to prepare us. He told us to be watchful, to discern the sign of the times, and to stand firm in our faith. Luke 21:28, he reminds us, now when these things begin to happen, look up, lift your heads, because your redemption drew near. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, remember this: none of it is catching God by surprise. He told us what to expect, and He is in control. But now is not the time to be asleep. Now is the time to stay alert, stay in the Word, and share the hope of the second coming of Jesus, pointing people to the most holy place where Christ is. Crisis is coming with rapidity and severity, because whether the world realizes it or not, the prophetic clock is ticking and time is running out. As we approach the second coming of Christ, the rapidity and the severity of the signs will be intense. But never fear, as long as we are totally surrendered to Christ and we hold Jesus as the only treasure in our lives, we will be in safety. Is it your desire, dear friends, to turn your eyes on Christ and not to fear and be overwhelmed by the crisis we are facing? Kindly type in the comment section, my eyes are on Christ. Thank you, dear friends. Eyes on Christ, dear friends. And may we continue to fulfill our mission. Do the work of an evangelist, Paul says. And as we share the word of God to others to bless them, we ourselves will be blessed. Thank you, dear friends, for watching. Continue to share truth found in Bible prophecy.